I'll give you my intuitive understanding of it. The karmic consequences of suicide are no different than that of the state of consciousness which led them to it in the first place. The physicality of it is irrelevant. So if you commit suicide because you are in a state of grief at 60, the only thing that happens is you go out of body and you find yourself at 60. So it doesn't solve the problem. Now you don't have a physical body, you're in your spiritual body, and you still got the same dilemma, which may or may not be beneficial. Okay? I don't know. People, I don't want to jump with the goal of the world's presumptions. To not have a physical body could be actually an advantage at that point. No. It's better to keep the physical body until its karma runs out. Okay. So if one commits suicide then prior to the karmic timing of the leaving of this physical body, you hang out in the, what do you call it? No. I can smell when they come around. This karma. Okay. All right. So you've got 3 more years to live, because we said the karmically the age of the body is already set. The time and date of death is already set. Let's reconfirm that. The time of death is already karmically set for this lifetime. Okay. So if you don't see it out, let's say you commit suicide 3 years before let's say you're destined to die at 72 and you knock yourself off at 68. You're going to have to spend 3 years on the other side, until that karma is over. You're going to be a discarnate. All right, so now you've got the misery that led you to do it, and the physicality, the karmic commitment. I don't understand that because I've never researched it. A lot of this we're talking about is somewhat irrelevant, but it is relevant, right? But the spiritual questions come up. Because you have a microscope, all kinds of things you wouldn't have bothered with, now you got to run and pull them out of the pond and look at them. So to some degree we're doing that. But it is a natural question. I think, yes. Okay. Praying for the individual who has committed suicide, and you have permission to ask this, is beneficial to them. It is beneficial, in other words. Okay. So praying for the person who is committing suicide would be then beneficial and help them to overcome their guilt about it and all. So that's not a, who was it that did a book on death, first famous one, the German doctor, huh? All right, and others have, I think she wrote that the near-death experiences of people who tried suicide were not any different than those who were dying of natural causes. In other words, there didn't seem to be, in her observation or studies, any identifiable negative consequence at the time. Because what you're going to experience is exactly what you're experiencing while you're in the body. The hopelessness or desperation is going to continue whether you're in the body or out of the body. So there's no, let's see, the karmic consequences are due to the state of mind that led to the action. All right, so it's spiritual intention that sets the karmic cost or consequences. All right, so it isn't the physicality that's important. So if one did it out of hate, out of rage, out of despair, out of getting even, out of retaliation, out of, skewering somebody else with guilt. You made me do it, you made me do it, no, that skewers them. So the extreme hostility to that. So you're stuck with the karma of the extreme hostility, which led you to try and skewer somebody else with a lifetime of guilt because you knocked yourself off, right? So we're still dealing then with the price and the quality of it all is occurring within the level of consciousness, in which the physicality is then the acting out of it. It would seem, we'll ask this last one, then we're doing. The karma is really no worse just because one acted on it. The karma is actually no worse. It's already worse. That's why you did it. In other words, the worstness has already happened, right? That's why it's the suicide is really the consequence of the despair and self-hatred or whatever it may be that led you to do it in the first place. So it's, again, intention which seems to determine the karmic consequences.